I've now mounted the gesture module in its a little box, and I've connected it up to my CI5 interface, and the CI5 interface is driving the IC706. Here's a drawing of what's inside the box. It's a Nano on a small homebrew shield feeding a LCD display. I have some relays here which the gesture module triggers. Here's the gesture module feeding into the I2 bus, and an I2 bus buffer for sending some data out to some of the other equipment rather than just an IC706, such as a signal generator. And the relays, by the way, down here will be used for controlling the antenna rotator, which actually has 110 volt motors in it. So I've decided to use relays there, but I could also use the I2 bus. And for future, I haven't added that yet, there's a voice recognition module which also feeds the system. I've mounted the gesture module on a small upright support and put a shroud around it to just improve the accuracy. Here's a close view of the gesture module mounted in the shroud. It does seem to improve things, and there it is mounted on a small jiffy box. So here's a quick demo of some gestures. Up, down, and I'll see if we can do this right. Left, right. I'll try and do the right so we can see it. There we go. And we have forward and backward, backward, forward, and we have wave. There we go. It's a bit slow, the wave. Here's my CI5 interface box which I built up with a keypad and a row of buttons. These are manual buttons. These buttons are also slave to the gesture module, so whatever I do to the gesture module will also be the same as if I push some of these buttons. I've only put some functions in for the 706. I do have a couple of extra function buttons. That gives me 10 functions. Pushing F1 gives me another 10, and F2 gives me another 10, so I can now have up to 30 with those buttons that I've got there. Here's a quick look at the drawing. It's a Omega 2560, which has lots of pins. There it is down there, and it drives the LCD, keypad function, I2 buffer to bring in data through the I2 bus. I also have inside it a module for a CP2102 module, which connects between a computer USB port and the IC706. Down there you'll see the very simple interface that's used for these for driving the 706. The CI5 interface for the 706 doesn't require a lot, just a couple of resistors and a diode from the Arduino, and a diode and a resistor from a RS232 to a USB adapter module. So there's the IC706 on the drawing. So let's look at the interface. I'll just switch it on. There we go. As it comes on, I do a lamp test on all the buttons. As you can see, it just runs through the LEDs. And there we have the display. So now I'll just go and do some gestures. You can have a look at that. So here's some gestures. Up and down gestures, and that's frequency in hertz up and frequency in hertz down. And we can now go across, which is scan go and scan stop. If we move in and out, we'll see lower sideband mode or upper sideband mode. If we do a wave, we do a frequency load. Whatever's on the keyboard gets loaded onto the 706. So we'll just go down to the 706 and just have a look at the display on the 706 while I'm so there we got the 706 running. I'll just do a scan start. There it is, and a scan stop. There we go. This is frequency up and down, up and down. And what else we have? We have mode, in and out, and wave should load my preloaded, which is that one there. I'll just dial in another frequency, for example 144, 144 2,0,0,0. That's 2 meters. I'll just see what happens when I wave. There we go. That was the wave. The wave's not quite so reliable, but so that's on 2 meters. We'll just go back to the display here. We'll see that there. Let's key in 20 meters, which is 0, 0. Sorry, so 40 meters. 0, 0, 7, 1, 5, 0, 0, 0, and we'll load that. We'll go back to the 706. That's it there. So there's another view of the scanning mode. It scans between P1 and P2, which are actually programmed frequencies inside the 706. So when you start the scan on VFO mode, it'll scan between those two frequencies. If you go to memory mode, it will scan between the memories. So there's a bit of an example of the scanning. So there it is, scanning between memories, and I can stop it like that with the gesture module and keep it going again. Another item of equipment I can control by the gesture module might be this homebrew signal generator. This signal generator uses an SI5351 phase lock loop chip, and it can be programmed to scan between two of the memory frequencies. For example, you might want to sweep over a tuned circuit, maybe 20 or 30 kilohertz. So you enter the start and stop frequencies, and then using the sweep mode, you can just sweep over those two frequencies. You can go slow, down to 1 hertz per second or 1 megahertz per second. And you can adjust the output level. That's programmable as well. So using the gesture module to control something like a signal generator could be useful if you want to free up your hands, for example, to do something, rather than keep turning the signal generator knob or doing something on it. You can then use your hands to adjust the tuned circuit. Another application for this control system is the control of the antenna rotator. This rotator uses a couple of micro switches on the end of this joystick, one for left and one for right. So I could use just 2 gestures to make the antenna rotator move in one direction or the other. There we go. So we've come to the end of this demonstration. It's an interesting project. I think that probably the most valuable thing out of this exercise is the addition of a keypad to the CI5 interface on the IC706. The 706 does not have a keypad, so to move frequencies you've either got to step through memories or do a lot of dial rotating. Adding the keypad to the CI5 interface has made it a lot easier to go to frequencies that I want to go to. So that's it for now. The next step will be to obtain the voice recognition module, which is on order, and attach it to the gesture module as an additional facility. I'm sure the voice recognition module can provide a lot more functions on the 706 and the other equipment, but I guess it's one of those things you have to be careful what you say and what you do with your hands once you introduce this sort of electronics into your ham radio station. It has been fun. Thank you.